Hi, I'm here to talk a bit about wintering in my newsletter this week. I've been thinking a lot about it actually these past couple months, and especially because much of North America is getting hit really hard by an Arctic air mass, which is unprecedented in certain parts of North America. In particular, we've been really lucky here on the west coast of BC. I'm on the near the southern Gulf Islands. It's just been horrific with ice and snow accumulation. And I know it's been really hard for people. So it's a good reminder, too, that winter isn't just a season that we should have to endure, though. It's a biological reality. We're actually designed to respond to it. I've been reading a lot about longevity research on hibernating animals and what that might teach us about ourselves. It's really been interesting. And the through line is surprisingly consistent. In nature, dormancy isn't the absence of life, it's an active phase of maintenance, transformation, and survival. Sort of like when a hibernating animal drops into torpor, which is the term for it, its metabolic rate doesn't just slow down, it can actually fall to sometimes as low as 1 to 5% of the norm. And it's tightly regulated. The animal stops spending precious energy on movement, on digestion, and constant vigilance. And instead, it reprioritizes what matters most, which is staying intact over this long haul, preserving its tissues, stabilizing critical systems, and reducing the kind of wear and tear that adds up over time. This deep maintenance mode, we'll call it appears to help longevity in a few ways. For example, repair gets prioritized. So that means that when the external outputs are turned down, the body can put more energy into cellular repair and internal upkeep. Kind of makes sense. Also, defenses get stronger. So, hibernators increase antioxidant and detox defenses, which help prevent cells from damage, especially when they periodically warm up and metabolism ramps up again. Also, the human parallel. So, what I find really interesting is, you know, we don't need to hibernate, and we don't. But um, we can still steal the principle, and our health improves when we get regular protected windows of time when repair can catch up without output. And most of us don't live that way. Modern life is basically permanent summer, bright light at night, constant stimulation, constant stress signaling, and constant snacking. So it's in that kind of lifestyle, our system is always running on high output, and maintenance becomes the thing that happens if there's time instead of prioritizing it. And it often doesn't happen enough. So wintering for humans looks less like doing nothing and more like choosing the conditions that let the body do its quiet work. So deep sleep. Mm, I love sleep. True downshifts in stress, fewer evening inputs, and longer gaps between meals when appropriate. Um, and this is for less nervous system overload. Um, there's also something called social hibernation, which is a deliberate choice to step back from social obligations and constant responsiveness. I know I do this for sure, especially in winter. And it's not because I'm being antisocial, it's just because our nervous systems have limits. And when you stay inside your window of tolerance, you're less likely to tip into chronic dysregulation. So that matters. A season of less can be the very thing that keeps you steady enough to meet the world again without feeling raw or depleted. When I look outside, I notice how nature doesn't fight winter, right? So, for example, you don't see plants arguing with the season, they prepare, they conserve, they go fallow. And dormancy isn't wasted time, it's how strength gets rebuilt for the inevitable return of spring. We all we know, so this is what I've been talking about, how climate change is rewriting what we consider winter, especially in certain parts of the world. More unpredictable swings, heavier rain, flooding, freeze and thaw cycles, darker stretches that drag on, and storms that arrive with less warning. Biophilic design offers a practical way to meet that changing reality by treating human spaces less like sealed boxes and more like living habitats, places that help bodies and nervous systems stay steady when the season gets chaotic. So instead of forcing comfort through brute control, biophilic design works with local winter conditions. It brings better daylight and circadian cues. It creates warm refuge zones that reduce stress. It uses natural materials and textures that signal safety. And it leans on water smart landscapes, design that can hold, slow, and move excess rain instead of pretending it won't come. And we know here on the West Coast that it will come. But this isn't theoretical for me at all. I've learned that I need a view out of at least one window, preferably onto something living. I crave real daylight indoors during the day, natural tones, natural materials, and these things help me regulate, and they bring calm to my nervous system. So when I don't have these things in my daily environment, I'm not just less inspired, I'm less regulated. For me, it's not a nice to have, it's a have to have. And so, just as climate change disrupts the timing of natural events like migration and blooming, a seasonless human life disrupts our ability to adapt. So, recognizing seasons, whether meteorological or metaphorical, lets us prepare and adjust instead of pushing until we break. So, I hope you enjoy that and let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for watching.